How's it going, guys? In today's video we're going to be going over whether it's worth it to buy the iPhone SE 3rd gen, and this is one of the most recent phone models that has been released by Apple, and it's one of the most affordable phone options. And I've been using the iPhone SE for maybe 3 months now, so I just want to go ahead and give my feedback on how I like it so far and whether it actually was worth it. So let's get started with the basic features of the iPhone SE, and the best feature being that it only starts at $429, which is highly affordable for most people, and you get all of the Apple technology included. And the screen itself is quite small. I mean, if we actually go down here, you'll see that the iPhone SE has a really small screen, and most phones on the market you can get with a bigger screen for much less, of course, such as this Android phone only cost me $100, so it was much cheaper. But of course it didn't hold the Apple technology and the Apple logo that we all really want to have. And also by this comparison, you can see that the iPhone 13 Pro has a lot more space than this small 4.7 display, which is an LCD display. Although I must say that the colors on the iPhone SE work perfectly fine. I mean, they're crisp and they're bright and they look nice. So it's actually a lot of technology you get for such a small price, even though it's a very small phone. I wouldn't recommend it for reading or for tasks that require you to be on your phone a lot, especially if you have to answer emails or read a lot of texts. I don't think the iPhone SE would be a good option for you because it really bothers your eyes after a while to read such small text. Even if you can increase the text size, there's just not a lot of space to read a lot at once. In terms of the camera, I still think Apple has one of the best cameras on the market, much better than buying an actual camera. So the iPhone SE, I would say it holds up pretty well. I don't think you can compare it with a pro camera system, but it does take nice pictures, and I think they're significantly nicer than what the cheaper Android phones have to offer. But if your main concern is taking pictures with your phone, I wouldn't recommend the SE either, because the other phones have a much more professional camera system. In terms of speed, we have a really powerful A15 Bionic chip with 4 core, and you get that also on the iPhone 13. Unless you have the iPhone 13 Pro, then you get 5 cores. But what I'm trying to say is that we have a lot of power in our phone, so it works perfectly fine. It's a really good way of getting started with the Apple market. It's affordable and it performs all the tasks and all the gaming at a very impressive speed. Now, of course, with a smaller phone, we do have a smaller battery, so your phone's not going to last as long as the upgraded versions on the iPhone 13. But it does last long enough for you to have maybe 2 days of usage. And I would say that this lasts just as any iPhone probably would. And the battery is really nothing compared to my Android phone. If I don't use this phone for a month, it will still have 50% battery. And with my Android phone, I don't have to charge the battery for maybe 3 or 4 days. So my cheaper Android phone has a much better battery than this iPhone phone over here, that in 2 days, whether you use the phone or not, it will decrease the battery significantly. Although you can use this phone for an entire day with no problems. I have had one minor issue, that when I was traveling to Slovakia, it could not find a proper signal from my phone, and looking for a signal drains the battery significantly. I was in the airport for only 30 minutes and my iPhone battery dropped by 50% just because it was continuously looking for a signal. So there are some bugs on iPhone, such as that one, that might deal with the battery life, and Apple has a really bad reputation with battery life in general, so that shouldn't be the key factor to throw you off buying this phone if you are looking for an iPhone. But it is a budget phone, so you will have a little bit less battery life, although that battery life will last you anywhere between 24 and 48 hours of normal use. And finally, we do not have Face ID on the iPhone SE. We only have Touch ID, which is pretty cool, but there are a lot of problems with Touch ID, such as when your hand gets sweaty, or after a month or two, your fingerprints start to change a bit, and the phone doesn't recognize it that easily. So you need to update this every several months. While with Face ID, your face seldomly changes unless you get into an accident, or unless you're growing up at a significant rate and your hair covers your face for some reason. Then, of course, you'll have to change your Face ID now and then, but it is much more reliable in terms of recognizing your face. Although it's not the most secure option for your phone, because usually a photo of yourself can be used to enter your phone. So Apple has introduced the iPhone SE as a budget model for their phones so that everyone can try this out. And I think personally it was worth trying it out. The screen size is very small, so again, I wouldn't recommend it for everyday tasks, such as reading emails and responding to clients, or if you have a really heavy work-related life, I definitely wouldn't recommend this phone. But for simple everyday use, I could definitely recommend this because it does have a durable battery. It has the capability of using 5G, even though that does reduce your battery life a bit more. And it has a very comfortable design with round edges. It's very small, it fits in your pocket. It's really good if you want to go for a run or if you want to carry something around you that's very light, because you might have noticed that the iPhone 13 is kind of like a brick, and if you put it in your pocket, it's very easy to note and it really limits your leg movement. So it's not the most comfortable, but with the iPhone SE, it fits nearly everywhere. It's very easy to carry. It has wireless charging capabilities. So it has all the features of the latest iPhones at a reduced cost with a very small screen. And also one thing to mention is that we have a physical button here with really cool haptic feedback, because it's not really a button, it's a simulated button. So when you tap on it, it gives you the feedback as a real button would give you. So that's actually really cool if you like having the physical feeling on your phones. Since technology has become old screens all of a sudden, it's very nice to have some physical features on the phone still there. But at the end of the day, we don't buy iPhone for the battery life, we buy it for the neat Apple logo at the back and also the simple user interface that we've all grown to love. And also the camera is one of the best on the market. You can't go wrong with any Apple phone you choose. They're always going to have one of the leading cameras for mobile devices. So with all that considered, the iPhone SE is a wonderful and affordable option if you're looking to get into the Apple market. Otherwise, it's really hard to beat the features that Android has to offer for the same price. So at the end of the day, it really depends on whether you want an Apple logo or you want a phone that's really powerful. And that's not to say that Apple phones are not very powerful, they're just a bit more expensive. But with that being said, guys, if you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. I still have my phone with me, so any questions you leave in the comment section can be easily answered. But otherwise, with that being said, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.